Welcome to From Caving In to Crushing It, the podcast for those who find themselves immersed in adversity and choose to write their story instead of having others write it for them. I'm Drew Durrani, and I'm your host. Chaz Sampson, so good to see you, my friend.
Absolutely, Drew. Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. So I always thank the person who introduced us, and I know Don and Becca on your end found our podcast, and I'm so glad that you agreed to be on because when we talked, prior to recording and the first time we chatted, I definitely realized that you're man number 3 who we're going to get to, and so I'm happy to have you on. Audience knows that I always talk about how when we're young, we're taught that life is linear. It's a straight line. If we do A plus B plus C, D is going to happen. And ultimately, life is linear until it's not. There's always an external circumstance that comes in the way of one of those letters and kind of derails that straight path into a more circuitous route. When that happens, that's when adversity rears its ugly head. And man number 1, who I don't have on this show, is the man who doesn't even see the adversity. He's got so many blind spots. He just lives the life, on autopilot, lives life the way other people tell him to, and nothing changes. And then there's man number 2. I also don't have him on the show. Man number 2 sees the adversity. He's got a heightened self-awareness, yet he says that adversity is a barrier, that he's the victim, everybody's to blame, life's doing it to him, and there's nothing he can do. And on his deathbed, he's got a ton of regrets, Chaz. Well, man number 3 is who I have on the show. That's Chaz Sampson. Man number 3 sees the adversity and says, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. This adversity is not a barrier, it's an opportunity to do something different, take massive action, and become a stronger man on the other side. So with that said, man number 3, Chaz, reach back as far as you need to for that defining moment in life. Either that tap on the shoulder, the whisper in the ear, or like what I needed, the 2x4 upside my head, that really transformed you from the man you were to the man you are now, and how that impacted you personally and professionally. Can you share that with us, my friend?
Yeah, sure. I think I had a very different path than most kids growing up and most men that are living nowadays. But for me, I was pretty much groomed like this since I was a kid. Since I was a little boy, my mom and dad were really strict on me. They were very hard on me in regards to, pretty much performing. They weren't saying that perform at a high level, but that's basically what he equated to. And that's the same thing I teach my kids today. Perform at a high level, keep a strong head, communicate. Be in touch with your emotions. If you feel a certain type of way, you should communicate that in a graceful and respectful manner, especially if you're talking to adults or folks that are in the workplace or in a professional setting. But when I was a kid, I didn't really have a defining moment. It was more so, if I can, just kind of top of my head, it was more so a series of events over life that just increased my confidence over time. And it was always I was always a little kid that was like the little cat that went forward 1 step, then 2 steps.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I jumped into it, like, okay, it's not that bad. And then that just so I think for me, my parents always just instilled having confidence, jumping out there doing remarkable cool things and just like being brave about stuff. And that just over time built me into what I am today at 39 years old.
And it's great to have an upbringing like that where they recommend or be curious, right? Just
Mhm.
be curious, try anything. Do you recall a moment where you did take that dip in the pool and it kind of challenged you into considering not doing it? Or is that something totally foreign to you?
That's very foreign to me. It wasn't not doing it, it was just how am I doing it?
Okay.
I was always been the how. I've always been taught like it's not the who or the what, it's the why and the how. And if you focus on the how and the why, you'll always figure it out. And so I think my very first time was I had a grass cutting business when I was 11.
Okay.
I got full swing in it when I was 12, and I exited that business when I was like 14. And it wasn't the proper exit like today's exit, which is like there's some financial compensation, some shares, and some capital that comes with the exit. I had two of my friends in the neighborhood that wanted to earn some money,
Mm-hmm.
and I had enough trust in the community where people like, if Chaz says it, then that's just what it is. And that was at 12. And so I had those guys basically running the neighborhood, lawn service that I developed. And then from there, we actually moved across town. So the business just went to the whole book of business went to them. And I probably should have kept some type of control in it, but wasn't like that competent to do that. But I think for me, the first step was going to a neighbor's house. And we had this one particular neighbor. His name was Jim. He was known as a neighborhood racist, if I can say that word on.
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
that's a
yeah, yeah,
very
of course,
yeah.
of course. I want
He
to.
was he was known as a neighborhood racist. He was an army veteran. He had a Confederate flag in his front yard, which was very clear indicator like, hey, if you come here, it's gonna be some problems.
Right.
American flag, Confederate flag, front yard, Fayetteville, North Carolina, and everyone saw him as neighborhood racist. And I was like, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna see what happens. Hope I don't get killed, but I'm gonna see what happens. And so I knocked on Jim's door, and Jim actually became my best client. I actually learned a lot of my best lessons from Jim. Jim was a Vietnam veteran.
Hmm.
He's passed away since then, bless his heart. And he would sit down and mentor me often. I learned finance from Jim. I
Hmm.
learned how to communicate with others through Jim that may not think like me. He
Hmm.
did have a very I would say white kind of national, not white nationalist, but a similar tone like that. Like, hey,
Right.
the white man came and did these things, and I was like, oh, I'm just here to listen and take part. But he didn't come at it from a standpoint of racist. He came from a standpoint that's just how he was raised.
Right.
And this is a grown man at 70 plus years old. This is in the 90s. And
Mhm.
so that's just his personality, that's his viewpoint. But that guy loved me, man. And he actually showed me a lot of great things. I cut his grass twice a week, which was more than what he needed. He tipped me extremely well. I used to use his Cadillac. He had a blue Cadillac.
Mhm.
He let me drive with no license. And so Jim just really taught me about finance and about money because he saw how many yards I was cutting. And he said, son, when you get older, you're probably going to be a CEO. You're probably going to be somebody that's going to be extremely successful in whatever you do.
Mhm.
And if I can just sprinkle a little bit of wisdom in there along the way, I'd love to do that. And Jim was so that taught me that a lot of times I think people are scared to do things or they're a little timid to move forward in things because of what they hear from other people
Right.
and what other people's opinions are. But sometimes God has a way of positioning you, or at least positioning me, in
Mhm.
a way that even in circumstances where I'm the least likely to be successful in, I'm the most successful in that capacity because of my unique life experiences. And that particular experience, I I wanted the yard. It was a big contract. I
Mhm.
wanted to see the worst that can happen is he says no, get off my lawn. People are pretty respectful in the South. They're not going to just shoot you. I mean,
Right.
they will at least give you a warning shot, and I know to back off.
Right.
And that worked out in my favor. He didn't take me on at first. Um, he kind of blew me off a little bit and said, "Hey, when you come back again, we can have that conversation." Cool. And I came back again, and he gave me the yes. So I think he wanted to see if I was going to be persistent or not. So that was that time for me.
So yeah, I love that. People will always judge and give their own opinion to people, even if they don't know what's true. You're right.
Mhm.
That about him that may have just passed down from person to person, and no one was
Yep.
strong enough or courageous enough to just go say, "I'm gonna go give it a shot."
Yeah.
What's the worst that can happen? And you respected him, he respected you, and
Hmm.
that's really all you can ask for is the respect of one human being to another. And I
Yep.
give you credit for going back. You went back. You didn't take no as no forever. It was no, not right now. Come back later, and you
Yeah.
did. So
Yep.
I love that. I love that story. So carrying that further, what was the next business you encountered after the lawn mowing business?
Well, I got tired of mowing lawns
Yeah.
because, as you can tell, I'm a pretty dark-skinned guy. So mowing lawn in the summertime in the South is just a beating.
Uh,
So I was like darker than black shirts at Walmart, and so I got tired of that. I've always had really good hygiene practices, just
yeah.
my own personal hygiene preferences,
Yeah.
and so I like to keep my nails pretty clean. I like to stay pretty well bathed, and I always
Mhm.
smell good as well. And it's just my thing. And so I think the lawnmower business just was I wasn't cut out for it. It was just too
Right.
much. I was dirty all the time.
Yeah.
Um, Outside of playing football, I'm cool with that being
Yeah.
dirty, but I got tired of it. So my next move was working at Winn-Dixie, which was a
Okay.
grocery store.
Yeah.
I worked there. I lied on my work visa, or what is it called? I think it's called a work permit. That's a work permit.
Okay.
And this is back in the day where the folks at the county clerk would say, "Go get your parents to sign off on this and just bring it back." So I'm like, "Okay, yeah." I go home and sign it myself and bring it back, and that's what I did.
I
Got a
love
work
that.
permit. Told them I was
Yeah.
15. I was 14,
Yeah.
and yeah, from there I started working at Winn-Dixie, and then we moved across town,
Okay.
and I worked at Sonic, the
Oh yeah,
burger shop,
the
the
drive
drive-through with the
drive-in,
roller
drive-in.
skates.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yep,
roller skates,
I
yeah.
worked there, and then I got caught eating a burger in the
Oh,
bathroom.
come
So,
on.
so, so they limit my hours. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not getting paid here. Like I'm just getting a soft termination, but they limited my hours to like 1 day per week for like 3 or 4 hours, like a closing shift. I came like at 8 to 12 or something like that.
Oh
So I was
boy.
like, okay, the writing's clear on the wall here. They're not going to fire me, but they're not going to give me any hours. Like whatever, cool. So I left there, went to Burger King,
Okay.
and I had the same experience with like I just got tired of smelling like mustard and ketchup
Yeah.
and grease and French fries. And so
Yeah.
then I got back into the grocery business, went to Food Line, and
Okay.
then from that I went to college and then military, and then here we are. So
So, you did military. So what branch were
yeah,
you in?
I was in the Army.
All right. Well, again, it sounds redundant, but when people say thanks for your service, but honestly do appreciate it.
Yeah, my
My
pleasure.
dad,
Thank you
my
as
dad
well.
was in the Air Force. Yeah. So tell
Okay.
me about your stint in the military. I mean, your skill level and your work ethic must have paid off brilliantly.
Oh yeah, I mean, from day one, I was in leadership roles. From the day I got to the Army to the day I left, and so I did 5 years. I deployed to Iraq for 15 months. Tough deployment, but worth it, if you will. And I was stationed in Germany, and then from Germany, I deployed to Iraq, and then I PCS or redeployed back to Germany, and then PCS to Fort Lewis, which is in Washington area. And then that's where I ETS, which is basically in the terminal service. You do
Mhm.
your contract, and you can either re-enlist or
Okay.
leave. And I actually had wanted to stay in. I
Yeah.
decided to stay in or leave, and just the time value of money for me just made sense to get out. And I got into finance. I was working
Right.
at a dealership. I had this creative financial plan where I basically found like Rolls Royces, Lamborghinis, Rarries, flip them for profit. I find them
Yeah.
like Nevada, Arizona, Montana, and flip them up in
Wow.
Seattle,
Yeah.
Washington, Oregon area. And so yeah, I was doing that and working at a dealership as well on the side, and just had a really good time. And I then moved from the West Coast to the East Coast.
Okay.
And while I was there, I managed an artist for a while. That was pretty cool. And then I moved to the East Coast and got into the federal government. And then, worked in the feds for a few years. I worked at the Department of Veteran Affairs in Washington, D.C., and then worked at the Pentagon for a little while. And then I left that and then started my firm, which has been in operation now for 11 years.
Mhm.
And I scaled that, and now we have all these different things that we offer to the country. So,
All right. So there's a lot to unpack here. So
yeah,
what was the best lesson you learned when you were in the military and being deployed?
people want love.
People want.
Um,
Okay.
People want love. They want to be respected, heard, and listened to, and loved. That's all it is. Because when you're at war, the opposite of war is love.
Right.
And what you'll find out is that, a lot of people say that the Army and the Marine Corps is a killing business.
Hmm.
And so, hey, it is what it is. But while we're deployed and you're meeting these people and you're shaking these hands and you're learning about who they are as people as well,
Right.
you come to find out that a lot of them just want to be heard and respected and they want to be loved. And so I think that was the biggest thing I learned in the military is that I came into the military with the mindset of like, bravado. I'm raw tough, and
Right.
I'm gonna just do all these tough guy acts, things you see on TV, and
Yeah.
you know it's stuff like that in the military. When you're in combat, at least, it's really about diplomatic relationships, having those hard conversations, and trying
Hmm.
to find a way that the U.S. government and these other countries that we were at war with, or at least at that time was Iraq, how can we make amends with each other to where you get what you want to do, I get what I want to do, and we all go home to our families at the end of
Right.
the day. Like, yeah, there will be bloodshed, unfortunately, that's just a casualty of war. There will be bad guys that do bad things that we will take care of. But for the multitude of good people, how do we make sure that they're not swapped up into with the bad people and show them love as well? And a lot of times the bad guys they won't love too. They're doing things because they have no other means, they have no other idea. I'm not giving them a pass, and they definitely don't
Right.
get
I agree.
they definitely don't get like some slack. But yeah, you'd be surprised when you talk to war criminals or folks that do anything. A lot of times it boils down to just the lack of love and attention. And it doesn't have to be love in the sense of like I'm gonna hug you and hold you and caress
No.
you. It
Yeah.
could just be like, hey, Drew, I understand you have a certain situation you're going through. I relate to that. This is what happened to me. You're like, wow, I would never expect someone like you
Yeah.
to have had the same problem I had. It's like
Right.
we all are people. We all have very similar problems,
Right.
especially once you hit a certain age in life. Everybody's problems become pretty much the same.
Yeah.
And there's a few nuances out there that are like, okay, wow, that's a really different problem. How'd you get yourself in that? But
Yeah.
for the most part, all of us have very similar concerns.
Nah, it's true. Absolutely. So what was the biggest challenge coming out of the military and back into civilian life?
Man, it was really just a matter of what I wanted to do. I just had so many opportunities. I didn't really. It was opportunity overload. So it's I think there's of course a number of folks because I deal with military every day. There's a lot of folks that transition. It was very tough to get back into the
Right.
civilian world, and they didn't have a lot of options. I had exactly the
Hey,
opposite
hold on.
experience.
My dog is barking, and I don't
Yeah,
even edit this. This is going to be great. I
yeah.
don't edit our podcast.
All
Let
right,
me
yeah.
check. That'll be fun. My VA, I always tell him I'm not going to edit. This is authentic and honest and straightforward.
Yeah.
So this will be the funniest break in the podcast. But go ahead. Sorry, I
But
had to
nah,
interrupt
I
you.
just a lot of no, you're fine. A lot of guys and gals, they get out of the military, they have a really tough time figuring out what they want to do next, and
Right.
the opportunities are very scarce. I had the opposite. I had actually opportunity overload, which
Wow.
I think is a similar problem because now you don't know what to do. So
Right.
for me, I had the option to stay in. If I would have stayed in, I would have became an officer.
Okay.
I also considered drill sergeant as well as recruiter. So I had those three options. I was gonna go to officer side. But to get out, I also had very similar options. I could have worked in finance. I could have worked in I worked a regular job. Also had money in the music industry. I had stuff going with the NFL at the time. So I had football going on.
Right.
It
Right.
was,
Right.
I just had so many different things. So I had to really sit and think like, okay, what's going to give me the highest return and what's going to have the most fun? I was 25
Okay.
years old at the time. So I ended up playing football and working in finance as well. So I was playing at Washington State University, go
Okay.
Cougs. And then
Yeah.
from there, I was, wanting to pursue my NFL dreams. And
Right.
I got back into football and just was like, you know what? I really enjoy the finance world. It's more my speed.
Okay.
Football is great, but it's just like you have no control of your time. And I've always been a big advocate for control over my time. So for me, the transition was very smooth. I had a lot of options. I got out and made great money
Good.
because I'm just a very talented person in that regard.
Yes.
And yeah, it was
Absolutely.
the best move I could have made.
Good for you. So when you decided not to do the NFL, I know that you still have a love for the for football and the NFL.
Yep.
Did you are you involved at all in sports?
Yeah, I'm an NFL agent actually. I represent NFL players right now.
You do, because
Yep.
that was something recent too.
Yeah, yeah. So I had, recent on paper, I had been a part of this other investment fund where there's a path to the draft, and basically the agents need money to fund a path to the draft. So for listeners out there, for NFL players or for college players particularly that are
Right.
going from college to the NFL, that time frame from being an amateur athlete to now declaring as a professional athlete, the
Right.
school doesn't pay you anymore. Like NL doesn't
Oh,
pay.
okay.
There's no pay for the kid, if you will. And I hate
Okay.
to say kid, but the parents still are definitely financially involved.
Got
And
it.
that path to the draft covers lodging, food, miscellaneous expenses,
Mhm.
training, so forth.
Right.
That tab can run anywhere between ten to $100,000 easily.
Oh,
And
wow.
so, and if it's like somebody like Cam Ward who's unrepresented this year, like to rep that guy, you're gonna need like $500,000, like to even like talk
Wow.
to this kid because
Okay.
he's coming to the league making 20 million, right?
Right,
So
right, 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 right,
you need to put up some bread to be able to like get his attention and actually work with him and make
right.
sure he has the best. And he's Cam Ward, so I mean, anywhere he goes, like people know who this guy is. So you want to
Right.
make sure he's in a safe environment. So you have to be
Mhm.
cognizant of that as an agent. So for the 2 years prior, I was actually investing into these types of things, and I thought to myself, man, maybe I can get back into the business as a sports agent because
Yeah.
this doesn't seem like too difficult. And so one of my colleagues, Damian Knight, who we actually work together now, he owns FAM Athletic Management.
Okay.
It's FAM, but it's
Right.
forever athlete management.
Happy
And
management.
he's a Marine. I like his vision. Love what he had to stand for. He became an NFL agent, and that really inspired me to kind of really get like take it serious. And so I
Mhm.
ended up looking up the NFL's website or NFLPA's website of how to actually become an agent. And I was like, I'm actually more than qualified. So
Good for
I
you.
put my name in the ring, and boom, I made it. So
Good for you. Good for you. Now, you mentioned you have a lot in your business. You have a lot of other things that you're working on where you're giving back.
yeah.
I'm assuming is it giving back to the veterans?
Yeah, so we have what's called a CSR. It's a
Mhm.
corporate social responsibility where we as an organization, we give back 10%, like almost like tithing, if you will. If you're into
Okay.
tithing, we give 10% back to the community. And that's from either CapEx or that could be just natural mentorship, sitting on panels,
Mhm.
funding different philanthropic events, stuff like that. So yeah, we give back in that regard. We do a couple cases for free every year, give or take. And a couple to us is like 100 cases a year for
Right.
free, or we may comp them. We get guys and gals that have like really tough things going on in life, and like
Mhm.
we're that I guess breath of fresh air to take up that burden off them. And the things we do for at least on the veteran side of the
Yeah.
business is we're putting more money in these minimum pockets for the rest of their life for forever. So yeah, I mean that's when someone can put an extra 2 3 grand in your pocket every single month until you pass away, and then your family also gets a benefit. That's
Yeah.
a huge benefit for our clients. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what are some challenges you're facing now in your business that you're gonna overcome?
Well, I think the biggest challenge is managing all the opportunities. Honestly,
Yeah,
I mean, I have a number of opportunities. I can either sell the business, which there's a lot of interest and people wanting to buy the company from me.
right.
I've built it up over the last 11 years and it runs itself, so to speak, which gives us the time to talk on podcasts in the middle of
Yeah,
it's 1 o'clock Central Time right now,
that's right.
or 1:30.
Yeah.
And so I think for me, it's just managing what I'm going to do when I get older.
Hmm.
And I've come to the point where I just want to focus on NFL players and private equity. That's what I want to deal with. And the rest of the organization, our mortgage division, our real estate division, our VA claims division, and our artificial intelligence division, packaging that, or it's already packaged, and just having it as one unit
Hmm.
and letting the team run it and giving them the opportunity to be, CEOs in their own right. And I just play chairman and keep mentorship to the team and
Wow.
kind of go from there. And if I sell it, then they get paid very handsomely for their involvement on making it where it's at. The folks that work here at the firm
Yeah.
have been here some since day one. They have been here for a number of years,
Great.
and so they understand the mission. They love what we do. It's also a pretty chill environment as well. I want to build an environment that wasn't like the federal government. When I was in the feds, it was just
Yeah.
super, super high stress and
Right.
just it was just a
Right.
lot. So I wanted to work on something that really gave people the autonomy to come in, have a real true work-life balance, but also solve a mission for people. So for me, I think the biggest hurdle for me right now is just really staying consistent and true to what I really want to do every single day, which is managing investment deals on the private equity side
Okay.
and taking care of football players that are playing National Football League and college kids. And everything else, I just be a mentor for. I still show up as chairperson
Mhm.
and still grow those organizations and also grow and mentor leaders.
As the organization grows and you have all these different aspects, how do you keep the culture the way it is? Because it reflects you as a human being. So how do you keep it the way you started it when it was just you?
Yeah, so first we have a very strict hiring process and we put folks through a psychological evaluation as well to see where their head's at, like they're
Mhm.
truly where their head is, and they
Mhm.
cannot dupe the questions because the questions are designed to see
Yeah.
what your true answers are.
Right. Right.
So that's
Right.
the first step is recruiting the right people. And then once we have them on board, making sure they really do align with the mission of the team. And we can see immediately whether someone's gonna be a good team fit or not. We just had a person that worked here for all of like 2 weeks. We were like, you know what? It's not gonna be a good fit, bro. Like we love what you do. You're a very smart kid. We think you have a lot to offer, but you just won't offer it here. This is gonna be the place for you. So your things are packed up, and we wish you the best. And I'm very strict about those things. And so for us, it's making sure we got good team fit, making sure we have good team chemistry. When folks come in, they understand exactly the nature of the mission. And the
Mhm.
cool thing is, like every single division has a different twang. I like to say.
Okay.
So the mortgage division is real boring. It's boring work, brainiac stuff. We're
Mhm.
watching mortgage-backed securities, watching the Fed rate. We're watching the mortgage interest rate every day. When Jerome, God, I forgot his name just that quick.
I think
The
it's
Fed chair,
Powell, right? Is it
Jerome
Jerome?
Powell. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I said that before. Jerome
You
Powell, when
did.
he
Yeah.
comes up,
Yeah.
we're all ears. What is the Fed doing? Because when the
Mhm.
Fed rate changes, that affects the business.
Right.
How
Right.
is
Right.
how is inflation? What's going on in the economy? Because that
Right.
affects the mortgage business. So the mortgage side is real technical,
Right.
boring, my kind of work. The real estate side is more flair. It's more
Hmm.
that recruiting those folks, it takes a little bit more of creativity because the real estate side is a lot more high-end dinners and really cool events and stuff like that.
Hmm.
The VA claim side is more compassionate. So we want
Okay.
people that are more like
Gotcha.
blue heart people that really
Right.
care about other
Right.
folks. And
Right.
and even though in that division there are certain departments that are a little bit more technical than others, the overall theme is care. And on
Mhm.
artificial intelligence side, it's just people that you have to talk to them in computer codes. So when I literally have to change up in my mind mentally how I talk to every single person in all those divisions. Well, I don't talk to everybody in those divisions, but the main key
Yeah.
personnel,
Right. Right.
I
Right.
have to
Right.
change how I communicate with them because if I communicate with someone on our AI division the way I communicate with someone on our real estate division, they won't have faith in my leadership because they
Right.
don't communicate that way.
Right.
The same way, if I communicate with the folks in the real estate division, the way communicate with the folks in the AI division, they think I'm being too harsh on them because like the,
Hmm.
the, the
Hmm.
communication is very binary.
Very
It's
different.
black or
Right.
white, yes or
Right.
no.
Right. Right.
In NFL, I have to. I actually, this is so funny, Drew.
Yeah.
I was talking to my fiance about this. I
Yeah.
actually have these chains I wear now. These are diamond chains
Okay.
that look really, really nice. They're very
Yeah.
expensive,
Uh-huh.
and that actually allowed me to insulate a little bit better with the players because
I
the
see. Okay.
players
Yeah.
are this what they're into fashion, they're into
Yeah.
the hip hop is very popular in the NFL.
Yeah.
And so initially when I was meeting players, I was meeting them in the suit and tie, I was meeting them with my normal decor.
Right. Right. Right.
But that comes off
Didn't
as
resonate with
like
them.
it doesn't resonate because
Right.
like they don't wear suit and ties. And it's like, what are
Right.
you here for? Like, what do you want from me? Because
Right.
everybody wants something from an NFL player,
Right.
and
Right.
I'm seriously like, I don't want anything. I actually
You
have something to
don't.
offer to
Yep.
you.
Yep.
And then when they hear me out, then they still are skeptical. But when their friend says, "Nah, that's just Chaz.
Right.
That's how he is. He's a really good guy. Talk to him," and then it becomes a thing.
Right.
But when I meet these kids in college and I meet these guys that are fresh to the NFL, I try to make sure that I showcase like, hey, I'm just like yourself. I just have a little bit more experience in the business, but
Right.
I'm also 15 years older than you as well. I should have this experience. And
Right.
so depending on what circle I'm in and what I'm doing for that day, I may bust out the chains and some nice shoes, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. And if
Right.
I'm doing more business stuff, I wear a suit and tie or a blazer. Or like today, I'm just kind of chilling. I got a little vest on and
There you
relaxing.
go.
So yeah,
Yeah.
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 So yeah, it's really just understanding how to communicate to your people.
I love it. What's the business focus in your artificial intelligence? What's your specialty?
Yeah, great
Yeah.
question. Yeah, so it's military resumes. So we actually built a proprietary database or proprietary network
Okay.
of all the MOSs. So it's MOSs, which is Army and Navy. Army, I'm sorry, Army and Marine Corps.
Okay.
It's rates, which are Navy and Coast Guard.
Okay.
SFSC for Space Force, which is Space Force Specialty Code. Air
Right.
Force AFSC, which is Air Force Specialty Code.
Okay.
It's basically all the jobs in the military. We created this
Okay.
whole exhaustive database of all the jobs, and
Oh.
when the member comes to the database, they select their job and they create a resume based on what they experienced
Wow.
over that
Okay.
time.
All
So if
right.
you got like a guy that's like, let's say he's an E7, he did 20 years in the Army, and he was a 13 Bravo, which is a cannon crew member, which is field artillery, and he did exercises overseas. He deployed a few times. He's done all these great leadership seminars and leadership courses. It takes that into consideration and builds a whole entire resume. And then
Beautiful.
he can add the experience he's had before and after his military service. That's where he has a
Right.
full picture.
Okay.
And so that's on one side of it. The next side of it is the VA side, because
Right.
obviously military is a very short period of time. The
Sure.
veteran side is the longest period of time for their
Yeah.
lives. And so
Absolutely. Mhm.
it takes their VA experience, and you can actually ask the system, how to do your VA claim? And so that's our claim to fame is VA claims. That's how we made our capital.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so it
Okay.
simplifies the process. And the reason why we actually did it that way is because we had a 4% conversion rate. And we were like, well, what's going on with the other 96% of people? Why aren't they doing business with us? Like we're
Mm.
one of the best in the market. We believe.
Yeah.
And so we come to find out it was either cost, or it was just like, hey, I don't really want to do this anymore because I just lost faith in the system, or I just truly
Oh.
want to do it myself and I just want you to help me along the way. And we're like, well, that's not how our process works. It's
Right.
it's white glove. It's all or nothing with us. You're gonna be all in with us, and we're gonna take
Right.
care of you like we've done for thousands of other veterans, or
Right.
you do zero, and we're okay with that too. So we decided to kind of meet them in the middle and give them an opportunity to actually figure out their case, because a lot of folks that decide not to go with us, they'll come back to us the next year or the year
Mm.
after. We're like, well, what happened back in 2021? Why didn't you go with us? Well, I thought I could do it myself. I went somewhere else. It wasn't a good experience. Now I'm back. And now, since they're back, their case is messed up. So now they're getting a no from us because their case doesn't have merit, but it had merit at one point. They thought
Okay.
they could do it on their own, and they actually could not. And so
Uh-huh.
we decided to help them out to build an AI system that takes the whole entire VA process and put it into one database to where
Okay.
it's easy to find, easy to move around, and yeah, that's what it
All
does.
right. So for a layperson like myself, what is this? What does VA claims mean? So walk me
Yep,
through very quickly the process. Like why would they want it? Why would they have to come to you? And what do the claims mean and all that kind of stuff?
yep. You serve in the military, you have damages. The VA awards you for the damages, monthly compensation.
Oh, okay, okay. So is that like injuries and stuff, or is it
Yep.
okay?
Yep.
Or
So military men and
and
women, they sustain injuries while they're serving in the military, and
okay.
the VA compensates you for those injuries for the rest of your life in the form of a
Oh,
payment per month.
okay. All right.
It ranges from 0 to 100%.
Mm-hmm.
0% pays zero. 100% pays about $4,000 per month, and
Mm-hmm.
it fluctuates based on your status as being single or married with
I
dependents.
see. I
And so
see.
if you're married and you have a couple of kids, then of course your payment goes up a little bit more.
Right, right,
You can also have other circumstances with other ligaments that may be other joints and
right.
erectile dysfunction, other things that are happening with your body
Okay.
that you get paid for. But yeah, what we do is we go into a veteran's case, and whether they have compensation or not, and we find ways to get them compensated based on their injuries from military service.
Got it. Got it. Okay, that makes sense. And how about like for employment for veterans? Do you do that with the AI piece too? or is that just for
Yes.
people in the
Yep.
military? All right.
So yeah, so it creates a resume for you, which obviously the goal is to get you to a job.
Right,
We
right.
did that because I would look at so many resumes and they were
Yeah,
just so incomplete. I'm like, this guy was an E8 or this guy was an O5. Like he's definitely qualified. He's just not
right.
speaking to his qualifications because the resume
Yeah,
just isn't put together very, very well
yeah.
for whatever
Right,
reason.
right,
And so
right.
yes, we don't deal directly with the employers, but we do make a link to the employers, and then from
Good.
there they're on
Yeah.
their own. We should probably make money off of it, but we just haven't got to that point of capitalizing it.
No, understood. But I think it's a nice service that you do because
Yeah,
they're looking to be independent as much as they
absolutely.
can, and to be able to support them, especially the white glove treatment. I would take you on for the white glove treatment because, well, when we try to do it yourself, there are things you don't know what you don't know, and
Exactly.
if you miss something, and
It's
then
missed forever.
yeah, it's missed forever, and it's hard to get it back. Exactly. Well, the audience certainly has captured the essence of you, Chaz, Sampson, and they're going to want to get in touch with you. So, folks, if you now he assures me his SEO is awesome. You type in Chaz Sampson, he's gonna come up with all his different platforms. So
Yep.
look him up. You are gonna find him because I did try it. Well, after he said that, I snuck it in, and it's true. Not that I didn't trust him, but I just wanted to make sure when I told you it was right. It is. So
And you got
thank
to spell
you.
it correctly too for listeners. If you can't spell it with a Z, you got to
C-H-A-S.
spell it with an S. Yeah, if you spell
Yeah.
it correctly, yep, everything comes right up.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. 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 All right. So God, I could sit with you for all day. I would definitely want to talk more football, maybe offline. But all right, so I've got anything you want to mention to the audience we didn't capture before I ask you my last two questions?
No, not I can think of.
I
No.
think we covered everything. All right, cool. All right, so I got two questions for you.
All
You're
right.
in your happy place, Chaz. You're sitting down with 7 to 10 year old Chaz, and you want to give him advice about life. What are you going to tell him?
Um, mm, 7 to 10 year old Chaz.
7 to 10. 7 to 10.
Um, what grade was that? Fifth grade? 10th grade? Yeah, 10 years old, fifth grade. That's
Yeah,
elementary
probably
school.
about fifth, fourth, fifth, sixth, something like that. Fifth, yeah, fifth. You're right. About fifth grade. Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. I probably would tell the little Chaz to uh probably focus on football a little bit more because I
Okay.
could have I could have easily played in the NFL. I just was not focused. I had other things going on, but
Got it.
um but I also that also gave me a lot of great things too that a lot of
Hmm.
my guys that are not playing football anymore do not have, and I don't
Right.
think they ever will have it because they just didn't have it as they were young. They have to rebuild
Right.
it. It's like it's easy to learn something at 10 than it is to learn something at 30. So I
Hmm.
would say if I could think of anything, this is on top of my head. I mean, I'm sure my answer would change tomorrow, but
Right.
I would say probably focus on football a little bit more and actually make it to the NFL and actually
Right.
play.
Gotcha. Gotcha. That makes sense. All right. So switch gears. Now you're sitting down with young entrepreneur, young businessman, Chaz, and you want to give him advice about business. What kind of advice are you going to give him?
Oh, be patient. Yeah, I
Ah.
think when I first got into the business, I wanted to make $1 million tomorrow morning, and I didn't do anything that was haphazard to get me there. But
Mhm.
I certainly had a lot of anxiety internally, like, okay, I got to make some money. Like, how much money did I make today? I'm watching the money every single day. Like, how much did I make, and how much more can I make? And
Mhm.
yeah, I would say definitely be patient in
Mhm.
regards like build it and build it correctly. And I had a little snafu when I started the business first. I had a partnership that didn't work well.
Mhm.
I had a certain vision where the business should go. We went to a lawsuit. Luckily, I won, but nonetheless, I definitely should have not partnered, and I partnered so I can move faster.
Got it.
So,
Makes sense.
so
Yeah.
yeah, I should have just
Yeah.
kept it to myself and just kind of slow burned it and built it, which I
Right.
ended up doing anyways.
Anyway.
So,
Right.
yeah,
No, that's a good point. And being patient is so important because if we're not, we
absolutely,
take too many shortcuts to try to get immediate gratification. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
absolutely,
All right.
yep.
Well, Chaz, I want to thank you for not just coming on, but coming into my life, man. I'm impressed with you. I'm inspired by you. You're a wonderful human being, and just keep doing what you're doing because you are helping so many people. And good luck with the NFL career. You didn't play, but that wasn't because you couldn't. It's just you made different choices, and that's okay. But you're going to help those ball players, especially when they get out of football, still live a valuable life, healthy, hopefully.
Yeah, thank you for that, Drew. It means a lot.
Absolutely, my friend. Everybody out there, please take care of yourselves. Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed the episode, please subscribe and give us a review to help others find it. I'd like you to answer this question. Are you living the life you want to live? Or are you living the life others want you to live? I'd like you to think about that for a second, because I strongly suggest you live the life you want to live. If you want to learn more about what I stand for and my services and how I'm able to help many men get out of their own way, please go to my website at www.profitcompassion.com. Feel free to also email me at drew@profitcompassion.com. I'd love to have a conversation with you. Take care of yourself and choose to write your own story instead of letting others write it for you.